Got questions about spiritual life, relationships, inner peace, or navigating everyday challenges with grace? Welcome to Ask a Swami, a Q&A series where you ask and Swamis from Yasodhara Ashram share their insights and experiences. In this episode, I speak with Swami Lalitananda, spiritual director of the ashram, about the meaning of lineage.
Murali Krishna, Mukunda Krishna, Mohana Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
Hello, Swami Lalitananda, and welcome to Ask a Swami.
Thank you very much. Namaste, Katie.
Namaste. It's a pleasure to have you here. Our first question today is concerning the topic of lineage. Someone asks, Dear Swami, what does it mean to be part of a lineage? What is a lineage?
I guess we have our own lineages as families. We come from parents who came from somewhere, That's a lineage. Same in the spiritual tradition. A lineage started somewhere and moved through a line of others to arrive where we are now. So I had the idea that here we are in the mountains at the ashram, and somewhere at the top of the mountain, a stream starts to form as the snow melts, and it starts to find its way down, and then more streams join in until it flows back into the lake, which then moves into a river that eventually flows back to the ocean. So at the source, you might not find exactly the huge cosmic source, but you might find a little dot of a beginning. And as the stream grows, I think of it like with Swami Radha's lineage, because she incorporated teachings from different traditions, her main teacher being Gurudev Shivananda, who she considered her guru, but she also had the Tibetan guru. So you'll see a lot of our lineage is we have Taras, we have Buddhas, we have an understanding of that lineage as well, incorporated into our lineage. Even the Kundalini system, which is like a huge map of human consciousness, a lot of it came through the Tibetan guru. So I feel like our lineage is very rich, and Swami Radha's guru, Gurudev Shivananda, asked her to interact with other teachers and gurus, as you'll see in The Company of the Wise, a book that she wrote about that. And she especially enjoyed meeting other women who were teachers and powerful women like Ananda Moema, and learning from them and seeing their beauty and devotion. Our particular lineage in our sannyas order is the Saraswati. And so in that lineage, it's a lineage of learning and teaching. It's a lineage of the arts. And it has a particular beauty, and Saraswati actually was a river. And so when you see the goddess Saraswati, she's playing a veena, and she has a river and a swan. So this is part of our lineage, is holding that tradition of wanting to really respect learning and teaching, education, that is really a big part of what life is about for us, is being always in learning. But a lineage also, like what Swami Radha did, was take some of the yogic teachings that were given to her through Gurudev Shivananda, and she's kept them impeccably as they were. So there's a stream of tradition that flows to the present day, and that's through the mantras. And it's also through her own original experience with the divine light invocation, which was an ancient practice, but given to her in particular in her lifetime. And that is now passed on to us, which we can pass on to many other people. So there's the tradition part where it remains pure, and then there's the adaptation part where it moves with the time and the needs of the time and the place in the world. So when she was learning, it was from Gurudev in India in the 1950s. She took that, carried it across to Canada, to the United States, and translated it into something that worked for our culture, which was more, I don't know, like busy, production oriented, didn't have the same spiritual background. So the whole idea that was also happening at that time was self-development. It was all kind of the rage back in the early 60s and stuff. So it really worked with that psychological element where we ask ourselves the questions and know that we ourselves actually have the answers within us, rather than just saying it was the grace of the Guru, which is the Eastern tradition. So our lineage is a combination of tradition and being very aware of what's needed in the moment. And I can see how it's developed even since Swami Radha's time, because language has developed. You know, you really can't say some of the things that she said when she published the Kundalini book in 1978. The idea of gender has changed. The ideas around marriage are very different. Really key concepts have changed. And so we're always looking at where are we now and what does the world need now, and how can these teachings apply to now? How can people find refuge in these teachings now? And they can. I just have to say that traditional part still holds. Those mantras are still powerful. She practiced them, Gurudev practiced them, we've practiced them, and they can be passed on. So that lineage part, the initiations through mantra, is an ongoing flowing stream. But the real lineage is people who come to the ashram seeking, questing, wanting to know what their life is about. How can they work with the situation that they're facing? How can they be more whatever it is that they want to be? Like usually it's compassionate or understanding or intelligent, or how do I get unstuck from this place where I am? And then they receive tools, and that's the best thing that we have, are these tools that we can give other people so that they can discover for themselves what their own unconscious, what their soul, why they're here, like what is needed in this particular situation. Because only ever that person can know what's the best thing for them. But we can offer them things that help in the same way that we were given tools that helped us and that we want to pass on. So that's a lineage. It's not us that are having people come here. They're attracted. She called it by divine appointment. You know, your time is up. You need to meet the divine now in yourself. So come here, learn these things, see what happens for you. So I never think of the lineage as just being passed through individuals. There was the beauty of her, that really big leap that she took. But it was like reawakening for her. And I think it's reawakening for each of us. It's like reawakening to, why did I take this birth? Why am I here? And so if you've got that, then you've got the impetus to search, and there will always be a response, because that's kind of the nature of the divine. They're looking for the searchers. In the Radha Krishna myth, it's like Radha's always looking for Krishna, but Krishna's always there. Sometimes you just don't see him. Yeah. So yeah, I think of the lineage as broadening, maybe like that stream as it comes down, like it might have started narrow, but then it's getting wider and wider till it's like the lake or the Kootenai River, and gonna keep going. Yeah.
Wow, what a wonderful overview of what a lineage is. And now I'm curious as to what's particular about this lineage in which you are a part of. What's special about this lineage, and what does it mean to be part of this particular lineage?
Well, for one thing, Swami Radha was a woman, and that is unusual in spiritual life, and definitely in her times especially. But also, if you look in the traditions, not that usual. She used to encourage women especially to write, because she always felt that women were present in the traditions, but the men were the scribes, the men were the writers, and so they would overtake and forget that the woman was actually the teacher. So yeah, having a woman as a teacher is special, I think, for women to understand that you too have that potential. Because strangely, even in this time, women often don't feel valued or don't recognize that they have the power because of the culture that suppresses the patriarchy, etc., etc. So that's important. And then what she did was elevate the divine through bringing these images of Divine Mother really forward in the ashram. So you're not just seeing images of male gods everywhere. You're not just hearing mantras to male gods. It's like the Divine Feminine is very present. And I feel like that idea of the Divine Feminine is more than an image or a mantra to them. It's also the holding. It's the I know that there's gender stereotypes, but there is something about the mother. And not all mothers are warm and loving. But let's say the ideal mother gives birth and then cares for the child. So you're not alone. Like, there's a compassionate, caring element. And we're invited, men and women, to contact that compassionate element in ourselves and to bring that forward, because that is what the world needs. So that's one part of the lineage. I don't know, I haven't been involved in other lineages, but I have to say that it just feels like it's quite an open-ended feeling in this lineage. I mean, we do have very specific practices, but the understanding always comes from each person for themselves. They may use what we give them, but I just really love that, and that's why I responded so well to this path, because I wasn't being told I had to be a certain way. I had to find out what works for me. And not all the practices work for everyone. People find the way that works for them. And also, I love that this path is open to, if it's not your path, that's good too. Find your way. It might not be here. Yeah.
So really that level of openness within this lineage and that quality of the Divine Mother being so celebrated here, Divine Feminine, and the teachings being passed down to us through Swami Radha feels so significant, and like you said, creates that sort of holding energy within this path and within this ashram. And what came to my mind as I was listening to you speak about that is an image within, I believe it's Carried by a Promise by Swami Lalitananda, where she has a dream about kissing Divine Mother on the cheek. And she realizes in the dream that she needs to keep her feet on the ground in order to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. And so within all of that, what comes out for me is really a level of practicality.
Thank you. Yes. So important in our tradition. Absolutely. How do you live your life? Like, we don't just go off and meditate in a cave. It's like day to day. How do you live it? Here too, the Swamis meet once a week, just like every other group here, to check on ourselves. Like, how are we doing on a daily basis? So I really feel like it keeps the ashram honest, keeps integrity happening. We're not above other people. We too are people, and we remind ourselves of our commitment. So what we do have that we share as swamis and brahmacharis, mantra initiates, long-term devotee people, is we have that commitment to keep on going and keep on no matter what the obstacles that are coming forward for us individually or for the ashram. It's like we're dedicated to carrying this forward. And I think it keeps the ashram really healthy. The size of the ashram too is, we're not enormous, we're not institutional. We know everyone here. And that was her idea, don't become too big. Keep it small, have teachers in other places, have people coming and going, but have a good core group that understands and knows the light. That's the other part of our tradition and our lineage, is the light. So when you asked me earlier, which image or which deity, it was really the light, because the light is, I love the subtlety of the light, that it's in everything. So I'm looking outside and seeing the trees and the mountains and the lake. It's like there's a vibrancy. Everything is alive. I'm alive, you're alive, we're breathing. The energy that sustains life can be visualized as light. And then training the mind to visualize brilliant light is that's an image for the divine that doesn't have a form. So then our mind will be more ready to leave the body, because we know we want to go to the light, which we're practicing imagining all along. So we're not really stuck on an image per se, although the images can be very beautiful and the stories can lead us deeper into devotion. But I love that the light is part of our tradition, because anyone can enter through that. And you'll see it in every single tradition as well. And we have the sun, as an amazing thing. This morning I was doing the sun salutations thing. So big. It's lighting up the whole world. Mm-hmm. And we're just the perfect distance, all of this perfect thing to make this world work. And that's the Divine Mother part, is how does that work? So the beauty of this special placement, the recognition of the beauty of life, the beauty of each life, the beauty of my life, the beauty of your life.
And even all the plants are growing towards the light and reaching.
Yeah. And even things in the darkness have their special place too. Mm-hmm. The undergrounds, the deep ocean places. Yeah, there's something about Divine Mother that's wonderful, something about the divine light that's wonderful. The Divine Mother is such multiplicity, it's unimaginable. All of the things on this earth. And then the fragility and what we're doing to the earth makes it so poignant right now, so heartbreaking. And so that's where we also need the encouragement of spiritual teachings, so that we can face the real terrors that seem to be upon us in the world right now, and come together as people who care. That translation into some kind of practical reality, super important. Even for us to be a refuge for people, so that they can take a breather from all the bad news that's happening at the moment, the sadness and the tragedies, the injustices. Just have a breather, so we can come back to balance and really attend to life, and whatever the challenges are, that we find that strength within ourselves to face what life is offering.
What I'm hearing is that really this lineage is a lineage of refuge, a lineage of Divine Mother, a lineage of light. And you mentioned already sort of the paths of initiation within this lineage. And that kind of leads me to my next question for today. And that's related to Ananda. Someone asks, "Dear Swami, can you say more about Ananda, bliss, and the yogic path?"
Interesting question. Yeah, when we become sannyasins, Well, I'll just say a little bit about how our initiations work. It's like when we really feel connected to this path or this lineage, and we've been practicing a mantra. The first initiation is a mantra initiation, which Swami Radha said is a marriage, like a spiritual marriage between the guru and the disciple. And so it's the mantra that creates the connection, and that is from the top of the mountain, right? That connection. So in a mantra initiation, it's like inviting all of those who have received initiation through that mantra to be present, like in their invisible form. So it's more than just one person giving it to another. It's like the lineage is offering this to you, knowing that you are going to be committed to it. And then the next initiation, and these two, the two next ones sometimes come together, or people can take them separately, is brahmachari. And brahmachari initiation typically was about celibacy, and often still is. But in our tradition, I mean, if you actually know what the mantra is, it's really about identifying with the light within you. It's like not taking identity as just this person. So you change your name. So you choose a name that represents a quality that you would like to aspire to. We're still human. We don't really get there. Occasionally, maybe. And then the next one is the Ananda. So I did both initiations at once, brahmachari and sannyas. And so I became Swami Lalitananda. From Julie McKay, I suddenly was Swami Lalitananda. And it's like, whoa. It's a big step, one that I thought about for many, many years, and really wanted to be sure that I could do it, that I wasn't going to, leave the commitment. So I had to be really sure. So Lalita is a friend of Radha. That's one of her forms. She helps Radha find her beloved Krishna. So she's a helper, a mediator. Lalita is also a dot at the center of the Sri Chakra, which is like the mystery at the center of the universe, which I also love, that wonderful, immense, abstract idea. And Ananda is the bliss. And I would say, yeah, as a Swami, we get it now and then, like the typical idea of what bliss is. We have the moments, the glimpses. But the real bliss is knowing that I've devoted to my life to my purpose, that this is something that is the right thing for me. And that it has to do with the idea of passing it on, going as far as I can myself, back up that mountain, and then offering it to others. Whatever I gain, I want others to be able to have access, because it's an amazing and beautiful thing. However, I wanted to mention that our mantra as sannyasins, which I will not tell you because it's super secret, but I'll give you a hint, is that it's about dispelling illusions. So it's not, okay, now I'm going to be a Swami, I'm just going to bliss out. Not like that. It's like, no, I'm going to be a Swami, I'm going to face what comes to me without any illusions or attachments. And of course, that's an aspiration. And so the tricky part there's several tricky parts. Because we're Caucasian women, we're not typical Indian male Swamis. We wear blue, we do not wear ochre robes. We do not even wear robes most of the time. We just wear ordinary Western clothes. So there's a question, are we like appropriating a tradition that doesn't really belong to us? Or are we entering deep in and doing it now for this time and this place and carrying the sacred part the purity of the tradition forward in a way that's going to work, which was the aim. That's the aim. That's what we're in. That's what we're trying to do. And we pay homage to Gurudev. We love Gurudev. He wanted Western people. Swami Radha wants people of all traditions. So we have that ecumenical feeling, but I just know the times. So it is a question. And the other part is the projection that people, because we have these special names, they think that we must have special powers and be especially like blissful and amazing. And really, if you think about the mantra, it's about dispelling illusions. So it's an interesting thing to be projected upon at the same time when you're saying, actually, I'm just trying to find out what's really real. And that I'm dedicated to that. I want to know the truth about myself. I want to accept where I don't know and be willing to keep learning. It's a learning path. We're not stopping. We haven't got anywhere. We've taken a step. You know, when you initiate something, it's a start, not an ending. So I just want to say, like Ask a Swami is asking someone who is a human being who is committed to a path, but not the all-wise. You know, maybe certain people can connect with certain people and things can be passed among us. But I really think it's so important. I mean, we've made ourselves unusual, which is really why I avoided doing this to begin with, because I don't like standing out. But it is, the commitment is an honoring of the tradition, and so it's also very special in its own way, because we promise for lifetimes to carry this forward. So in the commitment, in the promise, we're promising to ourselves that we'll get to a more enlightened place. I mean, that's what we want. And then because we're not there, that we will share what we know as we're going along. Yeah.
I think that element of as you're going along is a very important one to highlight, especially in this conversation for this podcast series of Ask a Swami, that while you have made this commitment and you have been in this lineage and in this path for many, many, many years, that growth is ever coming and you are ever growing. And so I appreciate that aspect of continuing to grow. Totally. And continuing to learn. And really, that for me feels at the center of these teachings, of Swami Radha's teachings and this lineage of practical tools that we can bring into our daily life.
Absolutely. You got it, Katie.
And I think there's a immense element of humility in all that you've just said. That's so apparent. And I just wanted to say that you are very humble in how you hold your position here at the ashram. And it's something that's allows for a lot of openness here, I think.
Oh, good. I'm pleased to hear that it allows for openness.
I feel like I have learned so much about Ananda and also about kind of the different initiations and steps within this lineage and what it means to be connected to this lineage and what this lineage has to offer. So thank you so much, Swami Lalitananda, for sharing all that you know and for continuing to inspire people and also to call for others, like Swami Radha did, to find their own path and to discover their own personal learnings.
Thank you, Katie. And it's wonderful to speak with you as always. I feel your enthusiasm and support and wish you many blessings. Namaste.
Namaste. Yasodhara Ashram is located in British Columbia on the unceded traditional territory of the Ktunaxa and Sinixt peoples. If you have questions that need answers, you can submit them to the form link in the description. You can learn more about the ashram and Swami Shivananda Radha's teachings by visiting our website at yasodhara.org.